Welcome to the Business Wisdom Podcast, where business strategist Clive Enever shares his inner business wisdom with you. Each episode is packed with his experience to help you grow and develop your own business wisdom. Join Clive as he shares his wisdom with you.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Wisdom Podcast. My name is Clive Enever, and as a business strategist, I help you discover clarity to more easily engage with more of your ideal client more often. In this episode, let's look at SMART goals. What are they? In all aspects of business, and of course in life, people talk about goals all the time. Now, the difficulty with goals, of course, is that most of us have to learn what a goal is all about. Not only what a goal is all about, but how to use them. What are they for? Essentially, goals are about achieving. It's about finding what it is that you want to achieve. What do you want to get out of business? What do you want to get out of your life? Whatever it is. But today, let's focus on business. What do you want to get out of your business? Now, you might want to set goals around your sales targets. You might want to set goals around growth expectations. You might want to set goals around the acquisition of various assets for your business. You might want to set performance goals for your staff. Whatever these goals are, they need to be clear. The most important thing about setting a goal is that it's clear. The goals that you set are the key to the future direction of whatever your business is. The important thing to recognise about them is that it's not just setting some arbitrary wish that you throw out to the universe with your fingers crossed and hope that the dream you've had there is going to come true. Effective goal setting involves being very clear about what you want to do with a time frame around it and measurements acknowledged, ready to use, so that whatever the activity that you undertake is, you can monitor it. In monitoring it, you can evaluate it, review it, discover what you did well, what could have been done better. This is why people who set goals and review their activity very often find that they're achieving far more than what they set the goal for. The exciting thing about having goals and then undertaking activity to go out and achieve those goals is that most often there seems to be this invisible force that gets behind you and doesn't push you along, it carries you along. So goal setting is extremely important, particularly in business. Since the 1980s, outcome-driven goal setting has been known as SMART, S-M-A-R-T, and it's one of the most popular and effective means of setting realistic goals that a business can actively achieve. In the end, as I said at the beginning, it's all about achieving. What do you want to achieve? So let's look at what are SMART goals. SMART is an acronym, and it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. What does all that mean? It means that when you set a goal, don't set some airy-fairy dream idea. Set your goal as something very specific. It's something that you want to achieve. It's so specific because you know precisely what achieving that goal will deliver to you. That's what being specific is about. Knowing exactly what it is that you want. Knowing exactly what it is that you want means that you can bypass bits and pieces along the way that are not going to deliver exactly what it is that you want. It makes it easier to make decisions. An opportunity presents itself to you and you go, this might help me move along towards my goal. Well, if it might help, it's probably not going to help as well as it should. So we can bypass that opportunity and accept the best opportunity. Much easier to make decisions when you're specific. It needs to be measurable. What does that mean? It means that having set the goal, you establish what activity is necessary to undertake in order to achieve this goal. In establishing the activity, you can therefore establish key performance indicators. In establishing key performance indicators, it means that you can now measure what's going on because your key performance indicators are something that you can count. Goes back to the old story. If you can't count it, you can't manage it. Now, if you can count it, it means you can manage it. That means you can analyse what has been happening, what activity is undertaken, what results were achieved because of that activity undertaken. And then we can decide, do we want to change anything that we're doing? Perhaps we did something and we didn't get the result we expected. Can we see how changing that ever so slightly, usually, is going to deliver the outcome that we want? Measurable. It needs to be attainable. The A stands for attainable. This means that we're not setting something that's airy-fairy based on absolutely nothing but an idea. It means that when we've set our very specific goal and worked out how to measure it, we've also identified that we can attain it. We can achieve our goal. The R stands for realistic. That simply means, are we being realistic in our expectation of being able to achieve this goal? If we've just plucked it out of the air with no foundation upon which to base the idea that we should be able to achieve this goal, chances are we won't. We must be realistic in establishing a goal. If we're not realistic, we set a goal which is completely out of reach. In setting a goal that's completely out of reach, we make it impossible for ourselves to achieve it. Then we go and undertake some activity towards it. We don't achieve what we want, so we blame the idea of the goal setting. That's very often how it plays out. Of course, it's because we, the individual, chose an unrealistic goal. We had an unrealistic expectation of return for the effort that we were prepared to put in. And it needs to be timely. What does that mean? It needs to have a time limit. If you say, I'd like to have such and such, and you don't set a time limit on it, it means that you're probably going to put off undertaking the activity because there's no urgency. Without the urgency, it's highly likely that you won't undertake the activity and therefore you're not going to achieve the goal. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. How do you make them even smarter than that? You spend time monitoring what's going on. And in monitoring what's going on, you now have things that you can evaluate and review. As I mentioned earlier, evaluate the activity. What did you do? What outcome did you achieve? If you added to the activity, what outcome might you achieve then? Very important to evaluate what it is that you've been doing in order to achieve the goals that you want. What's the importance of setting goals in business? If we don't have a goal, we are typically wandering about, possibly expecting that the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is going to wait for us. Now, I'm sure you've all noticed that rainbows tend to move. If there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, it's enormously difficult to get to the end of a rainbow. Let's set ourselves goals using the SMART criteria. When we do that, we can go out and we can achieve what we want. We can have the business that we want. Why are we in business? There's a host of reasons. But if we're in business, let's make the most of the business that we're in. Let's ensure that the business delivers to us the life that we want. As I often say, the very first thing a business should give you is a life. If you're looking to create smart goals to grow your business, I'm available to assist with goal setting and business planning. You can learn more about working with me at cliveenever.com.au.
Thanks for joining Clive. Remember to subscribe for more business wisdom. Want to work with Clive? Book a discovery call with him at enevergroup.com.au.